We are in the St. Paul Marina, the Haute Nautique, here in Besançon. This is our final stop for this vlog. There's the old mill. That is a manual lock, which we will get to do tomorrow. It is the day after solstice, and the light just never seems to give us much of a respite. It's been hot. I'm standing on the bow of the boat. There's the old mill back there. Let me take you to the aft deck, the terrace as the French call it, the terrace, and give you a bit of insight onto what these next clips are going to be about. I am a few days delayed in making this video. So we set out from Dole and we meet Dimitri at a old mill where he runs the Sport Nautique. It's a boxing club, shooting range, gymnasium, yoga studio, an entire thing for the community. He's extremely welcoming. That's early part of the video. And then we travel down the Doubs and we get to a tunnel that goes through a little mountain. That's pretty fun, and we spend the night there. We find a beautiful spot to stop along the river, which is actually kind of hard because the river is lined with trees and can be quite shallow, but we do find a nice spot and we spend lunch there. And then we get to here, Besançon, an amazing city that I have only just spent 3 days discovering. Besançon is very old. It dates back to the Neolithic period. Julius Caesar conquered it in his Gallic Wars. When Julius Caesar seems like the new kid on the block, you know you're in an old place. We visited the Museum of Beaux-Arts. We visited the castle on the hill built by the great French military architect of Vauban. He was Louis XIV's guy. And we really engaged in the city, and the city gave it back to us in spades. It was solstice yesterday, and they had their 11th annual solstice 24-hour party, and the city was just joyous yesterday, really celebrating a pagan bacchanal in a way, where they had bands all over the place, street dancing. There's a few clips of that. It was a fun time. We went out to dinner and it had classic haute cuisine in France. It was really lovely. I had veal. Who serves veal in America anymore? Not very many people. It's still here in France and it's so delicious. Anyway, I digress. If you've enjoyed this video, if you've enjoyed this vlog, because this will be the last one for Burgundy bound, France by barge, Burgundy bound. This is the last one, number 16. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I will be back with more French related boating content and traveling to France content, but I don't know when. And I hope you've enjoyed this kind of raw view. I don't have a full suite of editing software here, so it is absolutely just raw, and I have to thank Sarah for making a number of video clips for me. These videos would be a lot less good if she wasn't around, so I thank her for that. Anyway, until next time, I say a tutelare and cheers. It's 10:10 at night on June 18th. On the Canal de Rhône in a little village you'd probably never visit in France. It's beautiful. I can hear the bugs. I can hear the frogs. The birds are going to be so loud tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the morning. But this is the magic of the canals in France. Visiting little places You'd never go otherwise. And I just love it.
Apparently this harbor isn't just for kayaks. It just looks like it is. Dave did a masterful job parking in this tiny space. Ooh, this is the St. V Association of kickboxing, muscle work, yoga, and more. The saloon. Ooh. Oh. Well.
Pour l'association?
Yeah.
Réglementation 25.
Okay.
Mais on peut pas pousser les murs.
Oui.
Here's the tour we just got inside of the sport club where you can do kickboxing and kayak learning and shooting. Dimitri showed us all around. It was great. He was wonderful.
Current is strong.
Yeah. Oh! That went right in our cabin. That was a little splashy.
Oh, dear. It's after lunch, and Sarah and Carla have decided that we're in a spot that is appropriate to wash all of our deck rags.
Boat rags.
And so they got the bucket, and we're on the river, and I'm going to show you where we are. This is such a lovely spot. Here, let's go back through the boat this way, and I'll show you where we're parked. I saw this shady spot, and I thought, ooh, that might be a good spot for lunch. And believe it or not, we are floating, but we're right next to this linden tree, and the bees, where did you go? Where did you go? The bees, there he is, love basswood, otherwise known as linden, and it makes honey. And the water clarity, we're on the Doubs River, is exceptional. We can see the bottom. And so Rick and Sarah were on the bow when we came in, and they looped this tree branch, and the bow is just nosed in to this spot here, and the back of the boat extends that way into the deeper water. Now the current is running this way, so we are laying across the current. To counter that, we put a couple lines out onto these low-hanging linden branches that we were able to grab with a boat hook. And it's gotten sunny now, so we have to leave soon. But when we arrived here, it was absolutely in the shade. And look, you can see the bottom and all the little fish. And so it's quite warm today, 90 degrees. I think is going to be very close to that for the high. We were hot, and it was noon, and we all put our suits on, and we jumped off the back of the boat. The water there is probably 12 feet deep or 15 feet deep. And we swam up underneath this big, beautiful tree. And that was our lunch spot for today on the Doubs. A lovely spot, and it's pretty magical when you've got a low draft boat like we do, and you can just stuff her up into the bank. And then this is your scenery. And the Germans did a good job. They designed a swim platform, and we've got a ladder, and we've been using it. It's been great.
Wild mooring just right there, right next to the barrage.
You're gonna be on top, you know, it's really tall.
We are out taking a walk. It's about, sorry for the finger, 7 o'clock at night. Looking for a spot to swim in the river. And we found this really amazing wheat field. I mean, look at that. I've always been attracted to agriculture, how people feed themselves, whether physically, spiritually, or otherwise. I find this field of wheat an amazing thing, and I want to wade into it. Yet I wouldn't abuse the farmer's goodwill of having this trail next to his field and allowing me to walk here, and also I wouldn't want to crush his wheat.
We're at the tunnel of Thorez. We're gonna come through and end up in this basin right here. Let me just zoom in. There's a waterfall we get to go through. Pretty cool. Although I've heard they turn it off if you're cruising through. And a fun stairway up and down each side. And the basin just looks like this. There's a waterfall on both ends of this tunnel, but once the tunnel detects you, the one closest to you starts to turn off, and then you can still see the one far at the end, and there's some residue of water falling right here in front of us. We're about to go through this curtain of water. I think maybe I'll move over to the other side of the boat. Takes about a minute to drive through this tunnel. It's pretty short, it's pretty spacious, and there's these like zippy little holiday lights that are keeping you company the whole time. That was pretty fun, going through this tunnel at Thorez. Really strong current. We just came out of the floodgate into this fun river current. Whee! We're at the final lock before coming into Besançon. You can see the city ramparts way up here. Not too many people get to enter a city from the old perspective of the water. When you're on the road, you're underneath this, but when you're out here on the water, you can see everything, and this is so cool. We're gonna go underneath that bridge where the yellow diamond is and continue to circle Besançon before we come to the marina. This is the last lock before we can go around the horseshoe of the river, make our way to the other side, to the marina. Look at the swirl on the water. The lock is emptying. Dave's pretty much thrilled to be here. Look at this tiny little turret up here.
Beautiful. The marina is just on the inside of this bridge. This is the marina here in Besançon. That is the St. Paul Marina. And we've been here for a few days and we are down there, but I wanted to show it to you. That's kind of an inopportune place to cone. Couldn't back into here, but you'd want to. It's a big wide spot. There are a number of permanent boats here. Permanent, like, you know, their VNF passes say they moved back in 2020, so 5 years at least. And the draft is supposed to be 1.3 meters. I kind of believe that here in this spot. And this is close to the old mill. And there's a lock over there. It's a manual lock. It gets quite a bit of traffic from the little tourist boats that go in and out and do the loop around town. This would be hard to know this spot's here unless you muscled your way all the way up here, but this might actually be one of the best spots in the marina because it's shaded quite nicely here. And I'll show you where we are. And we went there, well, because you know, you can't really see. We came from the other end you can't really see, and we tried to make our turn when we saw an open spot, and then the Captainerie gal came out and said, no, come over here, park here. And so we did what we were told. However, the further down you get, the less draft you have. The water is really clear because it's river water. It's always being refreshed. So even when you muck it up with your prop, you know, it cleans out pretty good. So down here, I think Relaxed Companion has maybe a meter of water. It's quite vegetal, and we are next to this narrowboat that's been here for 5 years. And this is kind of the temporary docks down here. I think they want to put these boats all at this end. However, I really kind of prefer that area down at the other end by the mill. So keep that in mind if you're coming here. And here is the Captainerie. Up there for our boat, it's about 20 bucks a night, 20 euros a night. And they've got toilets and showers, and it's a locked facility, and you're on a little island. So it's actually pretty great. There's power and water on the backside like that. But do keep in mind, if your boat is much bigger than ours, and we are 12.8 meters, it's you're not going to fit, and you're going to have to go to the other siding, which is on the other side of town. This is part of the Citadel here in Besançon, France. It's about 4 days travel from the Saône, and you travel up the Doubs. There's the Doubs itself, and the old city is splayed out in front of you. Sarah and I have climbed up to the top of the Citadel, and now we're in this little tower, and it has spectacular views over the river. And if you have a boat or just some time, you want to go to a place few tourists visit in France, this is certainly worthy of your effort.
Là, vous gardez les... Ok.
Bonjour! Oh, you look wonderful! Artichoke.